All of us know that Batman is a badass. It's just an indisputable fact. And I think that to many of us who are into fitness, he can really inspire us because he represents the peak human condition, even though he is just a made-up fictional character. Which is why for the last 33 days, I implemented what I believe to be the most realistic way that Batman would train, including his physical, mental, and even dietary regimens. I also took advantage of the exceptional information that the Pioneer provides in his Training Like Batman video series. So if you want to learn even more, give him a look after this video. Batman is a master detective, so a big part of this challenge is to train my brain. So I meditated every single day and even used the brain training app Elevate. I also monitored my macronutrients daily, trying to get in 180 grams of protein every single day. My goal here was to improve the physical traits that Batman would need, which include strength, agility, mobility, endurance, well, pretty much everything. With this sheer volume of physical and mental training, alongside college and my other personal responsibilities, working towards making this video possible devoured almost all of my free time. But would Batman complain? No. So I'll shut up. The workouts that I was doing before this challenge were unorganized, impulsive, and inconsistent, to say the least. And I was also a chronic leg day skipper. Every day it was looking less and less like I actually worked out. Not the best place to be in. I also filmed my entire body composition to see how it looked before finishing the 33 days. The real question is, will Batman training be good enough to get rid of my dad gut? Only time will tell. On day 1, I did a fitness test to assess just where I was, and I settled on 2 exercises, which were the L-sit and the mile run. I was working on a million different things during the last 33 days, but one thing I made sure to emphasize was core work. And the L-sit includes not just the core, but the lats, the chest, the triceps, and even a bit of your legs. I think that was about 20 seconds. I did a lot better than I thought I was gonna do. And as for the mile, well, I was a sluggish bitch before starting this challenge, so increasing my endurance was a big goal for me. Right after my L-sit, I went straight into a structured pull workout, which was the first workout of the Batman challenge. It consisted of some pull-ups, some fancy pull-ups, and then some bicep curls. Looking back, this workout wasn't very impressive. But the thing is, it was one of the best workouts that I have done in months. I haven't actually planned, wrote out, and executed a workout in a long time. Then came the mile. Although I love the feeling of accomplishment I get after finishing a run, I hate the run itself. But I was going to be running almost every single day to improve my endurance and my cardiovascular health. So I ran a mile. Oh, just finished. I only got 8 minutes and 27 seconds, but I almost had to stop to walk. So as you can tell, my cardio is just all the way down there right now. During and after that run, I felt like death. But the good part is, I pushed myself and I completed a goal-oriented workout for the first time in a pretty long time. Afterwards, I stretched, which I was gonna be doing daily. Then I sat down to breathe, to meditate. Truth be told, it's pretty nerdy to be doing brain training because I'm feeling inspired by Batman. But the other truth is, this shit works. There's an overwhelming amount of evidence supporting the notion that meditation gives us more control over our emotions, makes us 10% happier, and even gives us more awareness of our surroundings, which is pretty Batman-like.
Always mind your surroundings.
And for those reasons, I think that meditation is the most realistic and practical way that we can do Batman brain training. So I did it every chance that I had. As for Elevate, the evidence here seems to be a bit shoddy, but it does seem pretty intriguing to me, so I gave it the shot to see where it would go. With this first workout and brain training done, 2 hours had passed, and I felt pretty good about myself. But I also felt a flood of stress wash over me because, well, this was just the beginning of a much larger journey. But I knew that tackling this challenge would be rewarding for me in the end.
Training is the will to act.
Training is an extremely important aspect of fitness, and practicing is an obligation we have to do if we want to progress in a skill, career, or pass a test. It's important, there's no denying that, but what many of us can sometimes neglect is that will is the precursor to meaningful training. Sometimes we can look at a goal we want and say, hey, maybe it's not realistic. That takes too much commitment, too much time, too much effort to get to that point. I've done it sometimes, I think many of us have. But the thing is, it's still important to us. And in these moments where we are doubting ourselves, that's when we need to just get up and act. Even though these goals aren't achievable anytime soon, just get started. Even if it's just a small step, find something to do. We need the will to act if we want to be proud of who we are. Take these small steps as often as you can. Some days you'll feel motivated to take larger steps. Some days you'll look back and be surprised at how far these steps have taken you. Is that a bit pretentious? Maybe. Probably a little bit. But if being inspired by Batman can get me to do things that are difficult for me to do, then fuck it. So what exercises are worthy of being put into a Batman training program? Well, it's actually just a bunch of fancy exercises. But don't worry, they also work. Well, these exercises are going to be able to help us lift heavy shit, but they will also help grant us the ability to jump off rooftops and be quick enough to chase criminals and beat the daylights out of them. So essentially, Batman is a CrossFitter. But it's also the good kind of CrossFit. So here we go. We would implement pull-ups, L-sit pull-ups, weighted pull-ups, bar hangs, tucked front levers, muscle-ups, which are one of my favorites, towel pull-ups, push-ups, including all kinds of variations, including kick-through push-ups, one-arm push-up, and renegade row push-ups. We can also superset other exercises with burpees to increase endurance. We can do dips, L-sits, tucked planches, pistol squats, which I first struggled to do, weighted explosive switch lunges to increase our jump height, sprints, and also traditional bodybuilding exercises to just strengthen our muscles. That's a lot of shit, but like I said, they will really help us build general strength. But since we're also focusing on body weight, we're gonna be able to build up these core muscles. As for endurance, I'd usually run a mile or slightly more after every single workout, except for on leg days where I would do sets of sprints or go rucking. And the fundamental schedule that I implemented was the push-pull legs routine, with one day dedicated to chest, triceps, and shoulders, another to back and biceps, and the last day to your legs. And ideally, we would repeat this routine twice, so that there would be 6 days of training a week, and 1 of rest. And to balance the body weight and free weight training, I'd make the first 3 training days based on body weight, and the second 3 on free weights. So, that's the Batman regimen in a nutshell. I hope you got all that. And by the way, the training program which documents every one of the 33 training days is linked in the description. So if you're curious to see exactly what I did, or you just want a free 1-month training program, then feel free to give it a look. Although it was getting increasingly difficult to train about 2 hours every single day, I was really enjoying the process. I felt myself getting slightly stronger as the weeks passed by, and the way I felt in the morning just kept improving as my body was shocked back into shape. The volume of my workouts also increased, and I was able to make my workouts more fun, more interesting, and more experimental. It definitely had its great moments, but it also got a bit hectic.
Why do we focus? So that we can learn to pick ourselves up.
Many hurdles arrived in front of me as I tried to complete my routine daily. The biggest one being that I had a bit of insomnia. I had to start waking up early for college, and these are my first in-person classes in a year, cause well, the pandemic. And some days I had to make it through with only 2 or 3 hours of sleep. On these days, I just had to skip my planned workout. On that amount of sleep, it's just not productive, and it's definitely not healthy. But even with these setbacks, I still felt really motivated because, well, I'd look really stupid if I made no significant progress while making this video. And also because, I mean, it's Batman training. You just gotta push through this shit. Throughout the 33 days, college began to really kick in. But funnily enough, I feel like meditation actually helped me react accordingly. Although meditation doesn't instantly solve all of your life struggles, it can definitely give you a way to manage your stress much more effectively. And as I consistently stick to it, I found myself getting better at being able to acknowledge any negative emotion, be able to just feel it, and then let it go before it completely overwhelmed me. So a benefit you can get if you consistently meditate is that you may not find yourself overwhelmed or even underwhelmed. You'll just be whelmed, which is actually a better feeling than you might expect. Elevate seemed to bring some benefits as well, and although it may not instantly transform you into a super genius, it may be beneficial to you. The Elevate app consists of challenging games which put our critical thinking skills to the test. And if you do it right, you may just improve your reading and calculation skills. Clarity and writing exercises are some of my favorite, as they teach us to remove wordy phrases from our sentences and just make them shorter. However, I didn't use this technique for my history paper. More words equals a longer essay, which is a bullshitting tactic that Batman would totally use if he was in college for some reason. There are also some well-made math exercises which can train us to calculate a lot faster. So if you work with numbers frequently, these can actually have some real-world applications. But unfortunately, as the final 10 days got more busy for me, I found myself skipping brain training sessions pretty commonly in favor of emphasizing my physical training. But I tried my best. Absolute perfection isn't always gonna happen. And yes, I am just making excuses. So the 33 days eventually passed, and when it did, I turned on my camera to record the before and after difference. I filmed 2 shots, one with the same lighting as day 1 and another one with a different lighting to experiment. And I'm proud to say that there is a definite positive difference. My muscle definition increased by a noticeable amount with better abs, although there are some angles where I kind of look the same. And even when I'm not flexing, my dad gut isn't as prominent, which if anything, that's the biggest victory in this entire challenge. And here's how I look with a different lighting setup. Here are a bunch of other photos that took place some time after I finished filming this video, just to give you an idea of how my body looks in different lightings or angles. And now onto the fitness test. Set a 30-second timer.
Alright, 30 seconds, starting now.
This is painful. That was the first test and it turned out to be a success, but now we have to do the mile run, which is going to be just as painful and if not more. My goal is 7 minutes and 30 seconds. I really want to get a minute decrease from my last time. Finished the mile. It hurt, but the good news is that I got an exactly 1 minute increase from last month's mile, which is a lot. So I'm happy with that. So did I become Batman in the last 33 days? No, but I am a step closer and I saw some significant results. Although I didn't massively improve in one singular area, I know for sure that I notably improved in every area I trained in: body weight, general strength, and endurance. But yes, if I had planned my scheduling better or maybe just straight up trained harder, there is margin for more improvement. But hey, I had the will to act, and I think that's worth something. So you might be thinking to yourself, Donald, you didn't even train parkour or you didn't even do martial arts training, and that's what Batman actually does to beat up criminals and whatnot. You'd actually be absolutely right. But I do have a fun idea to make videos specializing in those areas, with one on parkour and another in martial arts training. So if you want to see that, let me know down in the comments, or if you want, even subscribe to my YouTube channel, which I would appreciate a lot and it'd mean the world to me.
The idea was to be a simple Batman. Be anybody.
Anyone can be Batman. Maybe not me, but you could be Batman. All you need is one thing: the will to act.